Eminem may like to wear a hat with his hood up during his public appearances, but that doesn't mean we don't know how he spends his $230 million. You can't hide a 17,500 square foot mansion from us, Marshall. Eminem's 8,900 square foot home in Clinton Township, Michigan, was purchased in the year 2000 for $1,483,500. Since this home was purchased more than 20 years ago, not much is known about the interior of the house. However, he also owned the 17,500 square foot Kmart mansion in Rochester Hills, Michigan. The 6-bedroom, 8.5-bathroom home sits on nearly 6 acres and is surrounded by trees, making it feel like its own private oasis. Inside, you'll find a billiards room, a bar, and several living areas donning deep, rose-colored wood features along the walls and ceiling. The kitchen comes with a full wine fridge, 2 massive Sub-Zero refrigerators that would make any chef ecstatic, and 2 islands. The exterior of the home includes a pool with a waterfall, a full tennis court, a guest house, and your own private pond. There's also a cabana, and that guest house is 2,000 square feet, so your friends have somewhere to stay as well. Eminem described this home as an occasional getaway and did sell it back in 2003 for $2 million, taking a $2.75 million loss from his original purchase price, which we doubt he lost any sleep over. Marshall's a very private person and prefers to stay close to his hometown of Detroit, since the Clinton Township home is currently his primary residence and seemingly only piece of real estate. While this home doesn't have much of a digital footprint, we do know a thing or two about what he keeps in his garage. More on that later. Marshall loves to collect rare and unique stuff, and that includes NFTs and cryptocurrency. Even if you aren't into the NFT space yet, you probably heard about or saw his Twitter and Instagram profile picture titled Eminem, which is a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT that cost him 123.45 Ether, or approximately $450,000 towards the end of 2021. He currently owns more than 300 NFTs, valued at $134,932.52 as of July 13th, 2022. Marshall and several others entered venture funds that added almost $30 million to Maker's Place, which is one of the many platforms for NFTs. Based on his portfolio, it appears he won't back down from crypto anytime soon. Enough about digital currency, and let's talk about something we all can understand: cars. Growing up in the Motor City, Eminem has to have a healthy collection of cars, right? Absolutely. The Aston Martin V8 Vantage, coming in at about $150,000, would make even James Bond jealous. It has a twin-turbo V8 engine and can reach up to 100 kilometers an hour in just over 3 seconds. He owns 3 different Ferraris, the 575, valued at around $197,520, the 599 GTO, valued at $839,990, and the 430 Scuderia, valued at $450,900. Marshall also has an impressive Porsche collection, with the Carrera GT, which only had 1,270 made, the 911 GT3 RS 4.0, the 911 G2 RS, and the 911 Turbo. The 911 Turbo alone can range from $160,000 to $200,000, so we can imagine how much this whole Porsche collection would cost. What kind of car collection would Eminem have if it didn't include a Lamborghini? The Lamborghini Aventador made the cut, and its value can begin at around $400,000, and can even reach as high as $700,000 with modifications. The Aventador is considered one of the fastest vehicles in the world due to it being able to reach 100 kilometers an hour in just a couple of seconds and reaching top speeds of 350 kilometers an hour. Rounding out Marshall's collection is the McLaren MP412C, the Audi R8 Spider, and the Ford GT. While these cars won't take him spacebound anytime soon, they are impressive enough for us to say, lucky you, Slim. When Marshall does his spring cleaning and finally decides to clean out his closet, his shoe collection tends to keep him busy for quite a while. Eminem loves his shoes. In an interview with Complex, he stated that his mom would let him choose between buying new shoes or buying new clothes, and he would always choose the shoes. This sneakerhead has an impressive collection of shoes, starting with his collaboration with Carhartt and the Air Jordan 4s that have been seen at auction for upwards of $56,000. He also owns a pair of Jordan 4 Retros, which are valued at $32,000 and had a very limited production of only 23 pairs. $20,000 appears to be the starting rate for shoes in Eminem's collection, since that would be the bare minimum you'd have to bring to auction to get your hands on the Air Max 180 Shade 45s or the Nike Air Max 93 D12s. The shoe collaboration portfolio continued to grow with the shoes he showcased and announced at the 2022 Super Bowl halftime show, the Air Shady Jordan 3s. The Air Shady Jordan 3s have a red backwards E on the tongue, a name tag that says, "Hi, my name is Slim Shady" on the heel, and retailed for $200 upon release. Those who were lucky enough to get their hands on a pair most likely won't be selling them anytime soon, but we can be sure that once they do, the shoes won't come cheap. Whenever he decides to part ways with a pair of shoes, we know he can do so without a guilty conscience since he donates the proceeds from the shoe sales to charity. Most of us have heard the interview with Anderson Cooper where Eminem recounts a story about how he called his manager to see if he could afford a Rolex after selling millions of albums. Watches are another big part of Eminem's ensemble. We often see him sporting the approachable G-Shock brand, which typically costs around $100. He does, however, still have that infamous Rolex, as well as an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak open-worked perpetual calendar watch that retails at $115,000. AP manufactures significantly less watches per year than other luxury brands, which gives anyone who owns one massive bragging rights and status. While G-Shock is the obvious favorite, he even had a collaboration with them in 2013 and released a Detroit-themed watch that retailed around $180. We can occasionally catch him wearing more expensive pieces, like the Rolex Datejust with a custom band during the 2022 Super Bowl halftime show that set him back at least $8,000. Marshall's life growing up wasn't easy, and he had to escape it however he could. Before he started writing rhymes, he was reading and drawing his own comic books. In 2009, the little comic book nerd inside of him must have been overjoyed when he was featured in a Marvel comic alongside the Punisher. He also happens to own an incredibly rare and valuable comic book, The Amazing Fantasy number 15. This Marvel comic is the one that first introduced Spider-Man to the world. A mint condition copy of this comic book fetched $1.1 million at auction in 2011. Other copies have been sold for over $400,000. No word on the condition of Eminem's copy, but even if it's not in top condition, it can still net close to $500,000. Say what you say, the man loves his comics. In 1999, he founded Shady Records alongside his manager Paul Rosenberg. Shady Records, which is based out of Santa Monica, California, signed a lot of artists and had immense success in the early 2000s, most notably by signing 50 Cent to a $1 million deal. 50's debut album Get Rich or Die Tryin' sold 872,000 copies in its first week and was the best-selling album in 2003. With 50 Cent putting up numbers like those, we bet Eminem made out pretty well on this investment. Riding off the success of Oscar-winning song Lose Yourself, Eminem has also opened up a restaurant in Union Assembly in Detroit called Mom's Spaghetti. The restaurant serves, you guessed it, spaghetti and meatballs, and spaghetti sandwiches. A few fans were lucky enough to be helped by none other than Slim Shady himself on opening day. There's also a trailer nearby where you can pick up Eminem albums on vinyl and some other merchandise as well. When it comes to spending money, the real Slim Shady might pretend like he's afraid to stand up, but we know he can shell it out with the best of them. Eminem almost added onto his net worth and IMDb page several times throughout his career, but ended up turning down multiple movie projects for one reason or another. Jumper, Elysium, and Southpaw are some of the leading roles he turned down. Despite being able to buy or replace anything that he owns, he still doesn't like to wear his nice watches in public because he is afraid of scratching them. Or maybe he's afraid he'll just lose it. Did you know that while performing for 65,000 fans at the Milton Keynes Bowl in the UK, he gave a fan a necklace that he claimed cost him $450,000? The British tabloids disagree with that price point, and given Eminem's dry sense of humor, there's no real way to tell how much the necklace truly costs him, but a cool fan experience nonetheless.